Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha'arakah, Kadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is another edition of Prophecy and News, and this article I got is from Sky News, and it reads, Why are white men carrying out more mass shootings? Alright, so I'm just going to read through this and break it down and fill it through the scriptures. So, between 1982 and August 2019, 110 of the 114 mass shootings in the USA were carried out by men, and four involved a woman. Sorry. White men are responsible for more mass shootings in the US than any other race, and that's really one thing that has to be known. Okay, when we speak about race in the modern day, to get to the truth of the matter, you have to utilize a thing known as etymology. All right, the word etymology, ology means study, and eta means truth. So it's a study of the truth, which usually is the truth of words, right? Because you have a thing that was shown in this movie, 1984. All right, where they had a term known as newspeak, where the original meaning of words were changed for the benefit of the elites, all right, to basically construe the truth, all right, basically, create like, basically uh, cause confusion, all right. So now, with that being said, the etymology of the word race goes back to the Latin rasa, which means seed, right? Because your race is truly determined by your seed, and the Bible in Numbers 1 and 18 um, shows you that, man, because it tells you that the children of Israel assembled themselves according to the house of their fathers. That's why, a man contains a seed. All right, when he lays down with a woman, he shoots his seed into the woman's vagina, which fertilizes that seed, nourishes that seed, and then after 9 months, the seed is ready to be born as a newborn baby, either a male or a female, and ready to live life and sustain itself, all right, without the help of the mother, all right. So a good analogy of that is basically like taking an apple seed, putting it in the earth. The earth fertilizes that, gives that seed nourishment and allows it to grow into a tree, which then can bring forth more apples, which is a fruit of that seed, all right, which then after is eaten, you have what's left known as a seed to continue that cycle, all right. So the earth representing the woman can't produce no fruit of itself. It needs the seed, to be put into that earth for it to be for the earth's qualities to be utilized to actually, work in partnership with the seed to bring forth the fruit. But the point is, the seed determines what's going to be brought forth. So, for example, you put an apple inside the earth, you're gonna get apple seed inside the earth. You're gonna get apples. Apple tree, which gives you apples. Orange seed in the earth, you're gonna get orange tree, which gives you oranges. So on and so forth. So if you put a so-called white man's seed inside of a woman, what does it bring forth? A so-called white offspring, all right? But the reason why I'm saying so-called white, because the true identity, which is known in the Bible, because everyone has a biblical nationality. The Bible's a true book, all right, and it basically determines the race of the people, all right. This white term wasn't around thousands of years ago. It's first of English, and people weren't divided by their color. They were divided by their forefathers. So Esau, Edom, the red Hebrew Edomite, all right, which is actually in fact the only person named after the color, Adawam, which means red, is who today calls himself the so-called white man. So with that being said, the blessing that was given unto Esau was the sword. And that's why these things are happening, man. Mass shootings in the USA. being done by the so-called white man because it's actually a curse, all right? Whereby, the fact, and mind you, it's mainly in the land of America. You don't really have that going on in Europe. In England, I barely hear anything like that. There's like it's rare. Really, it's because of that land that they dwell in of America. There's a blood debt, and it's slowly being fulfilled. It hasn't fulfilled its full potential. But guess what? There's a time where it's ultimately going to be fulfilled by the time of destruction by the ICBMs. But now you're having basically, you know, offshoots of that with this mass shooting. All right. So after another weekend of mass shootings, Americans are once again debating the problem of gun violence. All right. That's the blessing, though. Without the gun, you wouldn't be able to actually thrive upon that land. In Texas, Patrick Cross, Crucius, Crucius has been named as a suspect in what has become America's eighth deadliest mass shooting after killing 20 people and injuring 26 more in Walmart. Just hours later, Connor Betts opened fire outside a bar in Ohio, killing 9 people, including his sister. He murked up his own bloody sister, man. Duppy the ghosted her. And you see, that's that curse, man. That curse is going out, and it's being done by. You see, it's irrefutable that the face of terrorism in the shores of America is the so-called white man. All right, and more so, it's the teenagers. I mean, these boys ain't really got no man. They really should just be having a whale of a time and be waiting for spring break and be doing, guzzling kegs and living that American pie lifestyle. All right, but for some reason, this demon is so heavy on them that it falls on them in a lot, that they all go out there and just go to schools or different forms of schools or to public domains and just open fire and start killing people, man. All right. He was shot dead by police officers responding to the situation. The names now join a roll call of mostly white men attached to the atrocities. The U.S. Congress defines a mass shooting as a single incident where 3 or more people are murdered. Another definition, as often used, classifies it as when at least 4 people are shot, excuse me, either injured or killed. All right. Of 114 mass shootings using the Congress definition between 1982 and May 2019, 110 were carried out by men. The final 4 made up of 3 women. In one case, one man and a woman working together in a San Bernardino attack in December 2015. According to Statista analysis, in the same time frame, 64 of the perpetrators were white, while 19 were black, 10 Latino, and 8 Asian. So that's okay. If we're going with black, so-called black people, so-called black men, okay, Jakes, you know, that's 3 times the amount. If we're going with so-called Latinos, the Northern Kingdom, that's 6 times the amount. So that's a real worry. Now, and the jokes thing is, now they do it 3 times more than so-called than Jakes, and 10 times more than Israel, Northern Kingdom. But let a so-called black or so-called Hispanic do this, all right? Guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna be labeled terrorists. Whereas when these people that do it more frequently, right, so-called white people, so-called white men, right, Esau, Edom, what happens? They say, oh, it was a mental illness. I mean, that's got to be one hell of a, that's got to be hereditary in a race for them to be doing that like that. Okay. So reading on, about 60% of America is white only, while current states stats show white people carry out about 58% of shootings. All right. So that's nearly their whole race. That's 2% shy of all. In terms of gun violence or shootings, it's done by save 2% of the 60 are out there busting guns. You know what I mean? And that shows you it's really in their spirit. But as a proportion of all races and shooters, white people far outstrip others. Okay, because again, that's that blessing, and it's really just proof. Going to Genesis, the 20th chapter, 27th chapter, when Isaac gave the blessing of the sword, by that sword shall thou rule, all right, and get the fatness of the earth, and then even Yahweh Shai further, who is Isaac in the spirit as well, further went into that when he told Peter when he was being detained by the Sanhedrin's men. He said, "Put thy sword up in the sheath. They that live by the sword shall die by the sword." So basically, that blessing that Esau was, a curse basically, because the same thing that he managed to gain all of his great wealth by is the same thing that's going to be to his detriment, and you can see that in the fact that the land of America is greatly plagued. Numbers 35:33 is in effect. Blood thereof pollute the land. Don't shed the land you go into to possess is a holy land. Do not, slew the like drop any blood basically, because blood defileth the land. So by the fact that the blood of Gad, the trail of tears, uh, uh, Reuben, all right, dealing with the Seminole, so-called Seminole Indians, and dealing with Issachar, all right, the so-called Mexicans, Mexicon, Mex- Mexicans. Let me just say it properly, Mexicans. Um, the fact that all these great atrocities were done to them is that there's a blood debt hanging over that land, and that's why now you have the children of uh, the seed of the forefathers of those men that committed these acts being plagued to commit these great and grievous acts upon their own people, all right, which is a detriment to them today, and not allowing them to live in peace, all right, because that's that law that the Most High set in place over the whole everything, in this world, the realm, man, in all of the realms, right? Although some experts disagree on what is classed as a mass shooting, after the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre, Congress defined it as a single incident where three or more people are murdered. This is done to enable states to ask the Attorney General to intervene and investigate. However, organizations such as Gun Violence Archive categorize a mass shooting as an incident where four people are shot, um, either wounded or killed, and put the figure at 251 shootings this year. All right, so that's quite a lot within this year. So they were trying to go shy with the one before. All right, and many of these there were no fatalities. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, in July, FBI Director Christopher Wray told a Senate committee, "I will say the majority of the domestic terrorism cases that we've investigated, are motivated by some version of what you might call white supremacist violence, but it does include other things as well." See, trying to be cheeky, by front, but it does include other. But the main point is it's motivated by white supremacy. All right, that's the majority of domestic, which is home terrorism. All right, so their major threat really is their own. For Esau, the elites of Esau, Edom, to actually implement a new world order, their greatest threat is themselves actually. All right, against uh, them wanting to bring about a new world order, but at the same time, it's to their benefit because it allows them to come down with a stronger hand. All right. He added, "We take domestic terrorism or hate crime, regardless of ideology, extremely seriously. I can assure you, and we are aggressively pursuing it using both counter-terrorism resources and criminal investigative resources, and partnering closely with our state and local partners." Now, the guy in Texas, El Paso, that did his dirty dealings, basically did it because he said he was tired of the Mexicans coming up to into America. So how can they be so starkly against it if the president that's tweeting every day is basically talking about Mexicans coming into the country? That, you know, and Trump didn't actually outright say, look, you can't be doing that. He basically was beating around the bush, which really shows you what, that ultimately he don't mind these things happening. All right. I'm not gonna read any more of this article. You can read it. I read it earlier today. It's definitely got some good points. It goes into the statistics, and it actually, I mean, for what it's worth, actually, goes into some good points. All right. So, I'm just gonna read this one scripture to get to the point. It's Revelations 6:4. And there went out another horse. All right, horse represents power. That was red at the one. All right, in the Hebrew, which means red, which a nation of people, the only nation actually named by a color, being the Edomites. All right, who today call themselves um, quite, um, you know, uh, quite cheekily, I could say, so-called white, because white means pure, whereas red is associated with crimson, criminals. All right, I caught you red-handed. Right, and power was given. So that's talking about, this horse is talking about the so-called white man, and the power was given to him that sat there and to take peace from the earth. Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes tells you there's a time and place for everything, a time for peace, a time for war. Now, effectively, are we in a time of peace? No, we're not. Because if we were in a time of peace, everything would be hunky dory, but it's not. All right. So we're in a time of war, and this is what we're in Esau's time. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. So this is the time to take peace off the earth, and that he should kill, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And that's the point, that they should kill one another. Now, ultimately, it's going to be fulfilled, Satan divided against Satan, how shall he stand? When basically the two hierarchies trying to sit on the one throne of Esau, Edom, being the United States of America, and the Russians go head to head with the use of the ICBMs, which is their sword. They go at each other, but you can see in the land of America, for example, that they're actually killing each other, man. Right? They, but ultimately, that's what that scripture's talking about. That's really what it's talking about. And there was given unto him a great sword, which is, ultimately the ICBM. But he has it, his weapons of warfare on every level is part of that sword as well. His blessing. All right. So, with that, I pray you edified. Shalom.